presented by TIAA, and we are coming to you live from Greensboro, North Carolina. It is semifinals Saturday here. 4 teams left, 2 of them looking to punch their first ever ticket to the ACC championship game, but they'll meet foes that are familiar with playing and winning on the ACC's biggest stage. First up, a top 25 matchup. Virginia Tech, the 5 seed here, 21 in the country, playing in the semifinals for the first time ever. What is the status, though, on ACC Player of the Year? Liz Kitley, after she went down yesterday, shoulder looking pretty good right there. On the other side of things, NC State. What will the Wolfpack, the defending back-to-back ACC champs from NC State, be able to do as they take on Virginia Tech for the 3rd time this season, riding an 8-game win streak? As we say hello from Greensboro Coliseum alongside the Hall of Famer Muffin McGraw, Kelly Gramlich, and Chelsea Gray. I'm Kelsey Riggs, and we are so excited to be with you all day long here on ACC Network, getting you set up for that first semifinal. We'll be with you in between and after as well. But guys, it is finally here. We had such a great day yesterday, Chelsea. How excited are you for what lies ahead?
I'm so excited. I hope there's no more buzzer beaters and, not stress me out too much. But this is great. I love the environment.
I hope there's more buzzer beaters.
Right?
Okay, give me more buzzer beaters. Destiny Harden just sprinting all the way back to Miami, wherever she was going. But super excited. We have 2 great semifinals, 2 great teams, some excellent stories, and I can't wait.
Great tournament atmosphere. Maybe not the 4 teams you had on your ballot there when you were looking at this ahead, but it's going to be an exciting day.
Going to be interesting for sure. First game we've got here coming your way in just under half an hour, Virginia Tech and NC State. And as I mentioned, this is the 3rd time we've seen these 2 teams play this season, and the last time that we saw them play was only a week ago, guys. It was Sunday, the regular season finale. NC State swept Virginia Tech this season. When you look at the stats in those 2 games that they have played, points in the paint, huge for NC State. Also, those second chance points. And how about the NC State bench, what they've been able to do so far? Lots of key things to break down from this, but the main question mark heading into this game is injuries for Virginia Tech. We have seen this team play 3 games in 3 days. They lost Kayla King in their first game. Then in their second game yesterday, it was ACC Player of the Year. Liz Kitley went down with the shoulder injury, tried to come back. It was too painful to play. And Kenny Brooks said yesterday they would evaluate it and see how it went. Kelly is going to be on the sidelines for this game. And Kelly, you've already been talking with coaches. So what's the latest on what we expect from Kitley and Kayla King in this game?
I talked with Virginia Tech team doctor, Mary Mitchell, and she was throwing out some doctor terms that I didn't really understand. But point is, she sprained it. So when she fell, she basically jammed it. No dislocation, nothing like that. They did a lot of rest, manual therapy, soft tissue adjustments, whatever that means. Lots of ice. It'll be wrapped up today. But I was watching her in warm-ups. It's her right arm, her shooting arm, as we know. But she was shooting, not grimacing at all. I think Kitley is going to be good to go. Kayla King is who I think is going to have a struggle. And Chelsea, you know all about this with ankle sprains. It's a high ankle sprain. That thing is purple and blue and swollen. So it's taped and braced. She's going to try to play, but that one might be tougher to deal with.
Yeah, I definitely think the ankle might be a little bit tougher. I remember when I was playing my freshman year and I hurt my ankle, I had to get cortisone shots before the game. And I was like, hey, let's wrap this thing up. I'm going to try to go out there. So I know that's what's going through their mind.
Right.
Being out there, being there at the ACC tournament, going into the NCAA. So I know they're going to try their best to be out there.
That's what's going through the player's mind. But if you're Kenny Brooks and you're thinking about not just this game, not potentially a championship game, but also an NCAA tournament run, what's going through your head as you kind of game plan? And they're saying, Coach, I want to go. And what are you thinking?
You know, and you're going, we have plan A, we got plan B, and we got all the way down to plan Z. This isn't going to work. So I know, I agree. I think the ankle's going to be a lot tougher. But, you know, it's a physical game in the post.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of banging in there. So we'll see how Kitley does. But isn't it great they want to play?
Yeah, it's great that they want to, and it's great that it looks like they'll at least be able to try to give it a go. Because, Kelly, there's such difference makers on this team, and especially when Virginia Tech has played 3 games in 3 days. They're going up against an NC State team that's only played 1 game, and they got to rest a lot of their starters.
Well, weirdly enough, Kitley may be somewhat rested. She didn't play in the second half yesterday or in overtime, but I think the biggest issue with these 2 teams, and you look at the minutes, you look at the fatigue, we saw the graphic earlier, it's going to be rebounding. And NC State with Kayla Jones, Jada Boyd, Elisa Cunane, all these great rebounders. If you didn't have Kitley, that was going to be a big concern. Just having Kitley's presence, it'll free up some other boards for Baines and Gregg. But I was worried about the rebounding. With Kitley trying to play, that's a really good sign for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, it really is. I'm worried about the bench because NC State has such a strong bench, and now with the injuries, maybe depleting Virginia Tech's bench a little bit, it's going to be a tough go.
Yeah, I agree with having plan A all the way down to Z. I think that's what's going through his mind of how did he combat that depending on how they look. You also don't want to try too much too early and kind of get a rhythm and see and kind of fill it out. So it'll be interesting to see how they do in the first quarter.
NC State swept the season when they played Virginia Tech, but guys, these were close games, both of them 6 points or less. Coach, what's the key you think in this game, in this matchup right now?
You know, I worry so much. You beat them twice. It was 6, then it was 2. You know, this one's going to really be close. So I think it's going to be the inside play. The points in the paint, they dominated. NC State 78 to Virginia Tech 36. So the points in the paint, I think, are going to be huge.
The last team that got swept, that beat that team that swept them in the semis or later, was Chelsea's Duke team in 13-14. So, Chelsea, I know you knew that.
She remembered that, obviously.
It's been a while. And Coach is right. It is, and Coach said this earlier, it's tough to beat a team 3 times. It's not easy.
Right.
But generally, the team that has swept does prevail. So, can Virginia Tech break that streak? That's going to be interesting.
I guess we'll see. Maybe I'll throw on a little jersey for old time's sake and see what's going on.
I'm pretty sure I saw you out there getting shots up earlier. You barely missed.
I know. I was feeling it. The tournament feel. It makes you want to have a basketball in your hands. You know what I'm saying?
You know who else seems to be feeling it when they get to the ACC tournament? That is Elisa Cunane. She has been impressive, not just on the ACC tournament stage, but guys, also in big games. She's scored 5 of her top 6 scoring performances against ranked opponents this season. Of course, another ranked opponent in Virginia Tech as they come into this one ranked 21st in the country. What does Elisa Cunane, Coach, need to focus on in this matchup?
Well, I love in the last game, they went right at her immediately. Yeah. Get her involved in the game. Let's go right to the block. Let's see how Kitney's really feeling on defense. Let's get some points going in the paint, and then everything will come from there.
And there is so much that we've talked about all season, Chels, with her and Kitley going head-to-head, friends that grew up together playing just down the road from here in Greensboro. That matchup is always interesting, but probably even more so today.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure Cunane wanted Kitley out there to be able to compete against that. You know, off the court, they're probably like, oh, yeah, you're my best friend. And then on the court, I'm just like, I'm just trying to go at you. I'm trying to get a bucket. I need that championship. So it'll be a good battle. I agree with Coach to kind of establish Cunane early. But I think she does so many different little things. Like defensively, she's a presence. She gets on the old board glass, so they're really going to have to pay attention to boxing her out. So I think she does a little bit of everything. She passes the rock a little bit better, and especially when they're going to have to try to come and double.
Averaging nearly 18 points a game, Elisa Cunane is against Virginia Tech. But it's not just Cunane, you guys. Kelly, when you look at this NC State team and the depth that they have, it is really impressive. 14th game this season with 10 players scoring. I mean, what does that tell you, especially when you're going up against a Virginia Tech team that is a little bit beat up and depleted?
NC State has so many pieces, so many players that can impact the game. When you think of just the ACC tournament, Reina Perez hit the game winner last year in the championship. Kai Crutchfield was clutch last year. She's going to probably be guarding Asia Shepherd, so that's going to be a really exciting matchup. Kayla Jones has been in the program for 10 years. She's an absolute veteran. Jada Boyd is one of the most talented players in the country to come off the bench, so she's going to make a big impact. You got Diamond Johnson. There's just players for days on this NC State team, and they are rested. So I think NC State's feeling pretty good going into this game.
Their top 3 subs could be starting for most of the teams in the conference, so they have a top 8 that could play with anybody.
And that rest, Chelsea, is so important when you get to this part of the season and this part of the tournament.
I think people are learning more and more, especially with the availability of different things and science and everything, that you have different things to get your body well. Like you have the Normatec, you have different things, so you're able to do a little bit better than that.
Coach has been preaching ice baths all week. Every time we've got a player on post game, we're like, we got to get her out. Coach needs to get her in the ice bath so she can be ready for what lies ahead.
Did you get an ice bath last night to get ready?
I did not have time for the ice bath.
Oh, man.
No ice bath for you. You know, when you look at this NC State team, Chels, it's not just the depth, it's also the way they play together and the teamwork you see with these players.
Yes, you really really see their ability to share the basketball. They play off of each other really, really well. So let's take a look at some clips of how they're able to do that. So in this first clip, take a look at Raina Perez and how she passes the ball and immediately spaces the floor. You then see a baseline screen trying to free up Cunane on the block. This play is designed to have two options. Option one, swing to Raina Perez and into the post and have the post move for Cunane on the block. Option two, hit the guard coming off the down screen for the shot. But because of the spacing and two players stay with Cunane, you get an easy slip to the basket for the layup. She has all that room to operate, easy money. In this next clip, it's pretty much the same play, but with a different read. You still have the cross screen on the baseline to try to get the ball to Cunane. The screener's defender stays a half a second too long and is trailing the guard coming out. Because of the spacing, she's able to penetrate the gap, forcing the help defense. When the ball finally gets to Cunane, look how many eyes are on her. She makes the right read at the right time, hitting the open three-point shooter for the bucket. And in this last clip, NC State is running a horn set. Nice spacing from the get-go. As Cunane rolls, you still see good spacing. When the pass finally goes to Cunane again, the exchange is happening on the backside. You know that a double is going to have to come. So she sees the double coming, hits it out, but again, two options. She either can kick to the corner for the three-point shot, but she elects to go right to the bucket, and she's late coming back over and trailing the play. So it's really hard to guard, and I think they figured out how to have that balance of when Cunane is able to attack, when the double is coming, how to play out of that. But I think she gets like 4 or something points going to the free throw line off of an O board or running in transition. But because they're coming to double a lot, she's able to kick out the shooters and have options out of that. It's so important to be able to play out of broken possessions.
And I think you'll agree, the thing that makes Cunane so good is the point guard, right? The point guard's got to know exactly where to get her the ball, when to get her the ball. The moment she's open, she's got to get the ball in her hands. I don't think we've talked enough about Raina Perez. I think she's a big key to this game.
Yeah. She is underrated, maybe undervalued, but means so much to this team. And Chelsea, you made a great point about Cunane too. She's one of the best free throw shooters in the conference. She just doesn't really have a weakness, and at times last year we talked about her performances in big games, but this year she's completely erased that narrative. I think Cunane, she's reached peak form. That's where Elisa Cunane is right now.
They are the ACC regular season champs, the back-to-back ACC tournament champs, and we will see what they're able to do as they take on Virginia Tech today in just about 18 minutes from tip-off here at Greensboro Coliseum. But man, we have got an action-packed day coming your way on ACC Network. The next game, noon, and then we'll be with you after that game wraps, breaking down what happened between Virginia Tech and NC State and getting the stage set for Miami and Notre Dame. Miami playing in the ACC semifinals for the first time since 2017. They've never made it to the finals. Never has a 7 seed made it to the finals either. So we'll see what happens there as they get ready to take on Notre Dame at 2:30. And then, of course, a big evening coming your way from Cameron Indoor as we get ready for Coach K's final game, the final rivalry matchup, at least in the regular season, between North Carolina and Duke. We'll be with you at 4:30 and then a 6 o'clock game and with you afterwards as well. Liz Kitley looking like she's ready to go. Gosh, she looks a lot better than she did yesterday. That shoulder seems loose. We will see what the ACC Player of the Year has in store for this third rematch with NC State. But when we come back, that's only one of the games today. We'll get you set for the Canes taking on the Irish after this.
Nothing But Net is presented by TIAA, dedicated to equality in retirement.
Welcome back into Nothing But Net live from Greensboro Coliseum as we are counting you down to tip off. About 15 minutes away between the first semifinals of the day between Virginia Tech and NC State. Asia Shepherd, such a key piece of this Virginia Tech offense. When she gets hot, it is trouble for other teams. We'll see what she's able to do as she takes on the Wolfpack for the third time this season. That is the first game here on ACC Network at noon, and then we will be with you in between between and get you set for the second game between Miami and Notre Dame. Man, what a game for Miami yesterday to take down Louisville at the buzzer. But first up here, we are just minutes away from tip-off between Virginia Tech and NC State. Georgia Amoore, what will she be able to do for Virginia Tech today? We will find out. She's definitely a key piece of this offense, averaging around 11 points per game. You hear the crowd behind us starting to get loud as these teams are headed back out on the court. Getting ready, yeah. The atmosphere here continuing to build as we get ready for tip-off. And this is familiar territory for Wes Moore. What's going through his head right now, Coach?
A lot of pressure squarely on Wes. I mean, you're the #1 seed coming in, and all you're thinking about is we can't lose this game. We got a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. There's a lot of pressure on him right now.
8 minutes till we find out what happens. We will be back with you to wrap things up and get you set for tip-off after this.
Nothing But Net is presented by TIAA, dedicated to equality in retirement.
Back in March of 2000, when Greensboro hosted its first women's ACC tournament, Duke beat Carolina to win the conference crown. Over the next decade, this town was usually painted a shade of blue by the end of the week. But starting in 2014, Notre Dame won 4 straight. And recently, Louisville and NC State have joined the mix to take over Tournament Town.
And we welcome you back into Tournament Town. The national anthem just wrapped up. We are about 3 minutes away from tip-off in our first semifinal of the day. Virginia Tech and NC State going head-to-head, and we cannot wait to see how this one turns out. Kelly, we just got a little bit news about the ACC Player of the Year, Liz Kitley.
She is not starting. Kaylee King isn't starting either, as we expected. But I've been told that she will play, and she's going to try to play. So I assume Kitley will go in at some point in the first quarter, but not in the starting lineup.
Big news for them, Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm confused a little bit. I'm going to try to start it early just to really see what they're going to do. Maybe they prepared something for if Kitley does not play and how they want to guard Kunane. But I would expect for Kitley to start in first quarter and see what she's got.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you're only going to get a little bit stiff sitting on the bench. Might as well get out there and give it a try early.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes for them as we've got just about a minute until we send it down to the game crew. Kelly is on the call for the game. She's not going to pick it. So, Coach, I'm coming to you. NC State or Virginia Tech?
I'm going with Lisa Kunane and NC State.
Dang.
Coach is always short to the point. Like, let me tell you what I think, and now you try to tell me if I'm wrong.
I really want to bump heads with you, Coach, but I have to go with NC State. I think they're poised, being able to be in this position. They have the depth. They have everybody together. They want to win this. Lisa Kunane is going to dominate, whether that's just scoring or being able to distribute. I mean, they're super hard to guard, so I'm going with NC State.
We'll see how the crowd factors in. You can't really see it because it's dark behind us right now, but there is a lot of red here, as expected, as we are in Greensboro, North Carolina, and getting set for tip-off here. First ACC semifinal of the day. Kelly, you got a busy day ahead. You're going to head down in just a second. You'll be on the call and looking forward to it. Key to the game quickly from you.
I think it's all about Kitley. How much can she play? How much can she disrupt Kunane? Because you can't guard Kunane one-on-one unless you have Liz Kitley. It changes everything if she can't go.
It has been so fun to watch both Liz Kitley and Elisa Kunane this season. We will see you back here at the half. Right now, we've got to send it out to Beth Mowens and Debbie Antonelli, Virginia Tech and NC State. Who will win the third matchup of the season and secure a spot in the ACC championship game? We'll see you back here at the half. Enjoy the game.
Champ season is here, and possibility hangs in the air.
All I know is win.
Forget the past and focus on the here and now.
Rain that one in.
It could lead to the future of your dreams.
Mad skills.
If you win, you're in.
Here come tournament.
That's for the win. It's over. Champ season begins now.
1,
Champ Week continues today here on ACC Network. It's Semifinals Saturday at Greensboro Coliseum. The 1 seed NC State, the 5 seed Virginia Tech. Tech got the big win in overtime against North Carolina as they continue to fight to host first and second round action in the NCAA tournament. And for the Wolfpack, well, it's the best regular season in ACC history for this Wolfpack women's squad. They are right now set as a projected #1 seed for the NCAA tournament as they seek the three-peat here in Greensboro. Beth Mowens, Debbie Antonelli, we know we're going to have a very fired up Elisa Cunane, who a lot of folks think was snubbed for Player of the Year honors this season.
I think the people in red might think that a little bit, but you know, certainly Elizabeth Kitley was Player of the Year. We'll see if we'll see any minutes out of her today. Elisa Cunane dominates the floor on both ends. She can score in their pick and pop game. She's very good at rolling to the rim to create space for all that 4 out 1 in. She can score, she can pass, she also defends inside. She's a very good screener, and I think she plays with a certain aggressive mindset when she comes here to Greensboro. All she knows is winning back-to-back ACC championships in this building.
Both regular season matchups went to the pack. They were both close games as we check out our player spotlight brought to you by Geico, and it features Asia Shepard. Back-to-back 20-point games in the first 2 rounds, Debbie.
All-time best scorer in the history of Virginia Tech basketball. Also made the most threes in program history. She's a bucket, and they'll run a lot of misdirection. They'll definitely feature her. And without Kitley in the starting lineup, they'll start small. That means they're going to probably switch 1 through 5 on the defensive end. Let's see if NC State can get Cunane going early.
We were told pregame that both Elizabeth Kitley and Kayla King, one of their top outside shooters, would give it a go today. We're not sure if that means how many minutes or if at all, but they are both going to be coming in off the bench if we do see them today for the Hokies. Raina Perez, first shot attempt. It's a 3-ball, and it's good.
Go to their horn set, and this is an aggressive mindset for NC State. They've got 5 players on the floor that can score.
Shepard will try to match. Off the mark on her first attempt.
That set right there is how Virginia Tech was able to beat North Carolina today. Shepard hit a couple of threes, running that misdirection play. She is so good when she sets her feet, but maybe a little nervous in this environment.
Here's a look at the starting 5 for NC State. It is a well-balanced attack, plenty of experience with their back-to-back ACC tournament titles, and now back-to-back triples to open up the game.
You're going to help, you're going to dig on Cunane. She's going to kick it out to a 3-point shooter. She's only got 4 options outside the arc to choose from. That's a tough check for Kenny Brooks without Elizabeth Kitley on the floor, because Kitley can play it one-on-one.
When you see all 5 players on the perimeter, that opens up the driving lane for Azana Baines, the 6'1 junior.
And on the other side, Beth, Kitley's going to have to guard someone who's smaller, who can run off screens, and is going to try to take her off the bounce.
Now the Hokies deal with Cunane. A big story today. Elisa off the dribble. Will try and clean it up and get a 3rd opportunity here. And turns it over. It's a Hokie side that is playing in the ACC Tournament semifinals for the very first time, seeking that first trip to the championship game here today. Good ball movement. Everybody gets a touch, and Shepard gets the bucket.
That's the way to move the ball. You get a couple of sides, you go inside, and you get your all-time best scorer touch in the middle of the defense. I think Virginia Tech's going to have to make 12 threes to be able to win this game. They're going to have to be able to put a big number on the board, because it's hard to stop NC State from scoring.
Cunane, a couple of misses early on.
The other thing that Kenny Brooks is really good at is ball control offense, and he can shorten the game a little bit by being very deliberate in their execution and trying to take advantage of certain matchups like Raina Perez off the bounce.
Let's check in now with Kelly Gramlich.
Well, hey guys, as you've noticed, the ACC Player of the Year is still on the bench. She is dealing with a right shoulder sprain. She suffered that injury yesterday in the quarterfinals. A lot of rest, a lot of manual therapy, some soft tissue work. They expect her to be able to try to play today. We will see. She is dealing with that right shoulder sprain in her shooting arm. But as we know, Beth and Debbie, Liz Kitley, I'm sure she wants to be out there. So keep an eye on her if she comes off the bench.
Well, look, Beth, we know she wants to play. I mean, there's no question she's one of the better competitors in the league, and she has played well in the NC State matchups. However, Kenny Brooks comes to the tournament for the first time knowing they're in the NCAA. So is it worth taking a chance on further injuring that shoulder, or will she play spotted minutes, maybe on an offensive possession here or there? I mean, she did warm up. She has gone through some extensive stretching in the back. As we were going for a cup of coffee, we caught her back there working with a trainer.
Baines gets the block on Cunane. Here is the Kitley injury. Happened in the second quarter yesterday. A collision diving for a loose ball. Your ACC Player of the Year. That was a huge win for Virginia Tech, because we talk about a team fighting to host first and second round action. They would need to be a top 16 seed. They are on the way up and into that discussion because several other teams, Debbie, on that host bubble have already lost in their conference tournaments. So trying to figure out what's best for those two injured players, because Kayla King is the other injured starter for the Hokies.
Michigan lost, LSU lost, Maryland lost. That definitely puts Virginia Tech in the conversation for sure.
We're going to see Notre Dame in our second semifinal. They too are fighting to host first and second round action. Perez going to be called for the offensive foul. And after hitting back-to-back threes, a little bit dysfunctional their last few trips up the floor for NC State. As you check out the Hokies head coach Kenny Brooks, now in his 6th season. They got to the NCAA tournament second round last year, ending a 15-year tournament drought.
Well, Raina Perez has to make a better decision than that. There were plenty of Hokie jerseys back, and you got to move the ball. You can't try to take it one-on-one right now. You got to get everybody a touch and get everyone in rhythm, and Perez has been very good facilitating all this balance for Westmore.
The 2022 ACC Coach of the Year. He ended the ACC tournament drought with the last 2 championships. They hadn't had one in 29 years, and now the regular season championship in the ACC for the first time in 32 years. Big changes for Westmore.
Well, I think this team has something special in mind, because they all came back after last year. Added Diamond Johnson, who is a significant piece off the bench, along with Jada Boyd. This is a team that really has 7 starters. That's how talented they are.
A 1 seed last year, they got bounced early, upset in the Sweet 16 by Indiana. And NC State has now missed their last 7 shots.
All at the rim.
Tech with a chance to tie or grab the lead. Minutes in for the Hokies, playing in their 3rd game in as many days. And there is a triple and a 1-point advantage.
How about Taylor Guyman getting some early minutes due to the injuries to Kayla King and Elizabeth Kitley?
We're on a 7-0 run right now, and an and 1 for Elisa Cunane.
This is the kind of physical toughness around the rim that Cunane brings for NC State. She can score with her right, she can score with her left. She might be amphibious.
Time for Food Lions Food for Thought. As we mentioned, 3rd game in 3 days for Georgia Tech. How much gas is in the tank for players like Amore and Shepard, who have played, obviously, a lot more than any NC State player did yesterday in their big win over Florida State.
Well, I think that's why it's important that Taylor Guyman comes on the floor and has an impact. Yes. 10 points on the entire season coming into this one. And I don't expect Asia Shepard and Georgia Amore to get fatigued unless it's into the second half.
By the way, for those folks outside of the NC State family, you want to clean up your amphibious ambidextrous comments?
They know what it means.
Okay.
It's a Coach V reference.
All right, Google that. Good box out for NC State there, and a foul is going to be called on Emily Lytle, and that is her second on a bench that is not very deep. They did have 3 players yesterday due to the injuries that all stepped up with season highs. And Moore, Traylor, and Gregg all in double digits yesterday in their big OT win. They survived a buzzer beater by the Tar Heels to advance. After Carolina tied it in regulation, the Hokies were tough in the overtime session. Jakia Brown-Turner, who's been terrific in the second half of the season for NC State. Pull up off the mark. Jada Boyd wanted a foul, no whistle. Denise Brooks, Karen Prieto, Palani Spurlock-Welsh are officials today, and the runner on the break.
I mean, you got to protect inside out. NC State did not do a good job of defending in transition. You give Amore a straight line drive to the bucket. She's explosive and quick with the ball in her hands. See, this is one pass and a shot, not in rhythm at all. NC State looks flat, and they look unemotional.
Well, it makes you wonder, they don't see Kitley or King on the floor. Do they take a step backwards instead of attacking?
I think they need to get a couple to sides, move the ball, play inside out. Here comes a double. Good dive.
Well, the pass picked off. Knocked loose by Guyman. Baines will kick it back out.
Watch Jakia Brown-Turner in this situation. You got to protect inside out. She just lets Amore have a free pass on the freeway.
The other thing, too, you know, you talk about the mental toughness, Debbie, for NC State. They are also well aware that their biggest threat to the title was eliminated yesterday in Louisville. The 2 seed lost. So you've got to come in respecting the Hokies, respecting the other side of the bracket, and get your business done here if you're NC State. They have hit just 1 of their last 11 shots. Boyd finds some space in the lane.
And that's a smart play by Jada Boyd. That's her skill set. Whether she catches it on the elbow and rips and bounces one time, or she does that. She's got an excellent mid-range game.
Amore for 3, no. NC State winners of 6 ACC tournament titles. They've been in the finals 16 times. And at 17-1 during the regular season, their best run through the ACC since a 9-0 record in 1980. When Debbie was a senior in high school, I believe.
Nope, I'm not that old.
Brown-Turner, good muscle to get into the lane for the easy bucket.
Back-to-back, aggressive takes, getting to the paint. With Diamond Johnson on the floor with Jada Boyd, this is where NC State usually picks up their energy level.
Final 2 minutes of this first quarter.
High hands on the shooter by Jakia Brown-Turner.
Baines off the fake, count it.
Really good interior passing by Virginia Tech. Good patience and a very mature possession. Good time and score, awareness of the clock. I'm not sure what Jada Boyd was doing on that play right there, but there was no switch there. Westmore trying to keep Jakia Brown-Turner on Asia Shepherd.
First foul on Crutchfield, and Baines to the line, just a 45% free throw shooter. She and Lytle, and we've already seen Taylor Guyman. More work to do today. Down the 2 starters who we may see at some point.
Virginia Tech has done a very good job of not giving anything easy to NC State. No transition buckets, no free throws.
Canadian offensive rebound. Two bodies immediately on her. Missed it inside. They'll get another chance. She is just 1 for 7 to start out the game. Good spin into the double. Second chance, got it.
And right now, the double team is working for Virginia Tech. It's got NC State off balance. They may not be getting turnovers, but certainly NC State's not shooting the ball well or playing well out of that double.
Just 31% from the floor. Way off the mark from Amore.
Some extra effort by NC State on this one. Face up, there's the double, and then a nice offensive rebound. I think NC State looks a half a step slow to me. I mean, they got to move the ball. They're not cutting hard. Everything seems slow developing, and Virginia Tech has done a good job of taking away the first option and making them work deeper.
Boyd just inside the line, and Jada able to knock that down. She's got 6.
She came ready to play.
Tech looking for the final shot of this first quarter. In our first semifinal of the day, Miami, Notre Dame on deck.
They like this misdirection for Shepherd.
Here is Asia using a couple of screens, trying to create some space, had to lean into the shot, off balance, no good. Well defended by the Pack, and they have the 4-point lead into the second quarter.
Welcome back to Greensboro Coliseum. I've been over here in the Virginia Tech huddle, and look, I know Kenny Brooks is the head coach, but Liz Kitley has basically been a coach in this huddle, very active, telling her players what she needs them to do, what she's seeing. I talked with Virginia Tech doctor Mary Mitchell. She said that Kitley is cleared. It's out of her medical hands now. It's just a matter if Virginia Tech wants to use her, if they feel like they need her. Beth and Debbie, it's been a pretty good start for Virginia Tech without her, so we'll see what happens.
You know, it could be a situation, Debbie, thank you very much, Kelly, where, hey, as long as it's a close game, you know, maybe you save them till the end if you need a particular play call to try and win it. As you look at her accolades.
I 100% agree. I mean, I said earlier, maybe you put her in for a possession here or there, an offensive possession, keep her out of the defensive part of the game if you need her, but they are playing well.
Do not want to get either of those more severely injured before the NCAA tournament. Of course, the selection committee does consider injuries in players that would be out or unavailable for the NCAA tournament. And as we've mentioned, this is a big weekend for the Hokies, who are trying to gain a spot as a top 16 seed, which would allow them to host first and second round action.
Zone by Virginia Tech off the timeout. The ball can't get stuck if you're NC State. You got to keep moving it.
Camille Hobby off the mark. She's in for Cunane right now. Elisa has started out just 1 for 7. A rough shooting first quarter for all of the Wolfpack women.
Virginia Tech loves this pistol action. They usually get Shepherd in it for a 3.
And the pass picked off. Here's Diamond Johnson, the 6th player of the year this season in the ACC. She'll try for 3. Neither side really able to dial it in yet, Debbie. We have some of the best 3-point shooters in the conference on either side, and there's the 3rd triple of the day for State.
Kai Crutchfield. She makes a big bucket once in a while for NC State. That's certainly one that might get them in a little bit of rhythm. I think they got to do a better job on the defensive end, because Virginia Tech is getting good looks. They're getting what they want on the offensive end.
Shot 43% in that first quarter, and now back-to-back turnovers.
It's good ball movement. Kai Crutchfield catches it at the top and steps into it. It's a rhythm 3 for Crutchfield.
Both sides with at least 3 players shooting around 40% from downtown on the season. Looking for a seam in the zone, and Diamond had it stripped. 3-on-1 Hokies. Baines. And then she lost it. Missed opportunity there for Tech. Hobby out of the short corner, looking for a cutter. The skip to Crutchfield.
Yeah, they're not going to double Hobby.
And then Boyd off the leg of Lytle and out. Hey, it's Coach K's final game at Cameron Indoor later today. ACC Network will be there with a unique and exclusive look. Our coverage starts at 4:30 with nothing but net. Then it's tip-off, Carolina and Duke at 6 Eastern. Got an alternate view of the game inside Cameron as well. There's a Coach K Cam interviews with Duke's all-time greats. All of that in addition to the ESPN telecast of the game. Hobby with the miss, knocked around. Tech comes down with it. Debbie, I know you're headed over there. Where are you guys? You and Durham and Packer, right?
Yeah, Packer and Durham, we're going to be up on the top in the roof, and we're going to get to call the game on the ACC Network. Can't wait. Should be fun. This is a triple header day. This is a fun day.
Final home game at Cameron Indoor. Good face-up and the bucket for Deasia Gregg. She had 10 points off the bench in the Carolina win yesterday. That was her career high. Hokies picked the right time to get hot. They've won 8 of their last 9. Their only loss was to NC State to end the regular season. 8 points now for Boyd.
Virginia Tech is doing a very good job of putting the ball on the deck and getting past NC State's defense. They just haven't been able to convert some of those.
Johnson calls for it, sights it up, and knocks it down. Another 3.
Get a piece of the paint after a ball reversal. It's the perfect time to attack a closeout. You get a wide open skip 3.
4th triple, and they open up the 8-point advantage. And it's starting on the defensive end, Debbie. Much better job for State at that end of the floor, and now Crutchfield, no. Johnson in there to get the O board.
Well, I think the rhythm of the game needs to change for NC State.
That is their 10th offensive rebound. The Hokies do not have one yet today.
The absence of Kitley in there in her 6'6" frame.
Well, they got a jack to beat the shot clock buzzer, and a violation.
Wes Moore, Coach of the Year in the ACC. Had a fantastic season. They were picked to win the league. He told us today his first job at Maryville College, a long time ago, made $10,000 a year.
Making a little more than that now.
I think a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, we won't be picking up the check when we're around him. Let's just say that.
Perez running with Crutchfield. And travel. There are some big job openings around the country as well, and so there might be some coaches picking up even bigger checks to leave or to stay. Gary Blair, Charlie Turner Thorne, Nancy Fahey, all lifers announcing their retirements at Texas A&M, Arizona State, and Illinois. Of course, Virginia and Syracuse, a couple of job openings in the ACC for next year.
The Hokies can score, they can get back and set their defense. They've been very good at getting organized, and that time Cunane shakes free. You got to bring the double when she catches. That's how quick she makes that move, so you can't get there in time to affect her shot.
She's got 5 now with 6 rebounds. .60 run to open things up a bit for NC State.
Lisa Cunane posting up hard, moving her feet, showing her hands and numbers to the ball, and then to the left with a finish.
Welcome welcome to ESPN's Champ Week.
4 conference title games all day Sunday.
It's going to be awesome, baby, with a capital A.
Dominance, will it continue for South Carolina?
The Caitlin Clark legend continues to grow.
Oh, can't wait. We get to kick that all off tomorrow here at noon Eastern with the ACC Championship and then the Big Ten, SEC, and Pac-12 all lined up for you. Still a chance, Debbie, that we can see back-to-back games featuring Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, the 2 leading contenders for National Player of the Year honors. I would imagine they will probably each win 1 or 2 of those at least.
I would think so. I think Melissa Smith is in the mix. She was last year's Wade Trophy winner at Baylor.
Terrific job by Nikki Collin at Baylor to get those guys back on top of the Big 12 with 1 game still to play.
It's certainly a great conversation to have on the national scene about top players that have become household names across the landscape. We like that.
You're going to have another fun discussion too with players like Cunane, who's not a Player of the Year in their conference, but certainly would be in the conversation for one of those top 10 All-America slots out there.
Absolutely.
There's a few of those around the country. Naz Hillman at Michigan. Maybe Ashley Jones at Iowa State that won't win their Player of the Year honor, but will be in the mix for All-American.
Look at that Barry inside. Good defense. They're playing behind Cunane, relying on help. When she catches it that deep, she usually can finish.
No Kitley to deal with, but Elisa struggling to find the bottom of the net. Just 2 for 9 here in this first half. 3 minutes now to play for a spot in the ACC final tomorrow. Held ball will go to State. Hey, Monday night on ACC Network, we got the final 2 episodes of The Tournament, a history of ACC men's basketball. At 9 Eastern, it's episode 9, followed by the finale. You could always watch and get caught up with the past episodes on the ESPN app before the men head to Brooklyn for the next chapter on the ACC men's side next week.
You know, the more NC State walks it up and allows Virginia Tech to get organized, remember they're down 2 starters and you want to get deeper into that depth if you can. See if NC State can pick up the tempo a little bit.
Perez pull-up is good.
Playing off that screen on the elbow. That's a couple of buckets for her.
Well, that position is going to be so critical to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. A shot at the Final Four with Perez and Diamond Johnson running the show with so many capable scorers around them as they force the turnover there.
Well, the 2 4 players that play the power forward position for Virginia Tech both average more rebounds than points for Kenny Brooks' team. They're used to playing as offensive rebounders or players that dive off of a Kitley double team, and they're going to have to do some scoring here that's a little bit more scripted in their offense.
Cunane, good try for 3. Short, offensive rebound. They are getting the job done on the glass, but still no conversion. Shepard with the push. She'll look for the rim and get to the free throw line.
It's an excellent decision in transition. You don't see 2 hips, 2 shoulders, but you see a rim, you take it off the bounce. It's exactly what you'd expect from a 5th-year senior.
And she's drawn the 2nd personal foul on Reina Perez. Shepard so far just the 1 basket after scoring 42 points in their 2 wins the last couple of days. She is the all-time leading scorer in Blacksburg.
I believe she passed Ivory Latta for the ACC career 3-point mark.
Good.
It's a reference to greatness here in Greensboro at the University of North Carolina, and Ivory Latta helped Sylvia Hatchell win a few titles here.
I think the next 3 would be her 400th, so that's averaging 100 per season. Cunane with the catch inside for 2.
Yeah, that's much better rhythm. Ball didn't hit the ground. Jakia Brown-Turner has had the responsibility on Shepard, and she's done a good job on her, using that length, high hands on the catch.
She's just 1 for 4 in the half. Here she is with the floater, and it's good.
That would be a significant defensive error by NC State. That time, Kitley is, sometimes they play jam coverage on that ball screen action. Under overhead strap ice jam switch, there's only 7 different ways you can guard a ball screen with a variation.
Johnson from Perez. You added the with a variation, didn't you?
You got a little variation. Okay. You can go high, hard, big fat heads.
Yes, we like the high hands. Yes. Oh, nice fake. And is that number 3 now on Reina Perez? Aggressive move to the bucket by Georgia Amore. And it is the 3rd foul on Reina.
Good job by Kenny Brooks to put his aggressive point guard, who has a high IQ. I say Georgia Amore can answer the 3 W's, Beth. Who to get the ball to, when, and where. She's called her own number a couple of times. Low center of gravity, control the ground. You know, I learned about controlling the ground from Becky Hammond. She's the one that told me.
Hall of Famer.
Her dad told her that, you know what, you might not ever play at or above the rim, but you can control the ground.
Low man wins. Offensive foul. First on Brown-Turner as Greg takes the charge.
I'll tell you what, Kenny Brooks has got to be pleased with where his team is right now. It's a single-digit deficit. He's playing without the player of the year in Elizabeth Kitley. Kayla King, who's been a starter, who's been his best perimeter defender all season, she's out. Kitley is available, but they haven't used her.
They've controlled the tempo. They're good on the scoreboard right now. Perhaps saving those 2 for a couple of key possessions in the second half. And the runner is good, getting into the lane. Kiana Traylor. 10-point deficit down to 4. Final seconds of this first half. Brown-Turner, good if it goes, short, and a terrific first half. The fist pump from Kenny Brooks. Hanging tough, down 2 starters, and it's a 4-point game with the top seed NC State as they close out the half on a 6-0 run. Let's go over to Kelly.
Coach, Virginia Tech was able to go on a little bit of a run towards the end there. What happened with your defense?
Well, I mean, they only scored 27 points, so I'm not totally disappointed. We got to quit letting them turn the corner and get downhill. At some point, we got to beat them to a spot and make them pull up instead of just letting them go all the way to the rim. So that's the biggest thing.
Reina Perez has 3 fouls. What are you feeling for her starting in the second half?
I was told she only had 2, so I don't know. We'll find out.
All right, well, we'll check on that, Wes. Thanks.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, official scorer does say 3 personal fouls. Right after this short break, the Nothing But Net folks will join us for the halftime report.
Welcome into this ACC Network halftime report. We are coming to you live from Greensboro Coliseum. All the action happening right behind us. The halftime show underway right now, but what a great first half we got in the first semifinal of the day between Virginia Tech and NC State. It is the Wolfpack, the #1 seed, with the 31-27 lead at the break alongside the Hall of Famer Muffet McGraw and Chelsea Gray. I'm Kelsey Riggs, and guys, I think if you're Virginia Tech, we haven't seen Liz Kitley. We didn't see Kayla King. We know that they are available. Have been on the bench, though. To come out of this game in this first half, Coach, only down 4, you've got to feel pretty good heading into the locker room.
I'm feeling great if I'm Kenny Brooks. I haven't had to go to even plan B yet. I mean, plan A is working. They're being incredibly physical. NC State came out just a little tight. You know, they had trouble getting Cunane the ball. They finally figured that out, but they got some work to do with their zone offense.
Yeah, I think definitely in the beginning, I think Virginia Tech was doing a good job of disrupting Cunane. Sometimes they were bringing the double. Sometimes they were playing in between the passing lanes. I think when you keep a post player guessing a little bit, especially when their back is to the basket, it's really hard to play out of that. So right here, they're pushing her off the block a little bit more. They're playing a little bit cat and mouse. I think there was one time she went in trying to get a score, but they came for the double. They went away, got the steal. Like those moments, that's when you're able to keep the post player on their heels.
Yeah, and defensively, boy, they're having some trouble containing the guards for Virginia Tech. I think that's something that West really needs to fix.
I want to talk a little bit more, guys, about Cunane and what she's been able to do. 7 and 6 for her so far. Not just her also, but Boyd in the inside and what she's got 8 and 4 the present she's had. Coach, offensively, what more do you need to see from NC State?
Well, Boyd's been terrific off the bench. She's really been the lift that they absolutely needed. They're doing a great job on the offensive boards. They just can't seem to finish. Cunane starts out 1 for 7. That's something that they got to fix. And then they get content to settle for threes just because Virginia Tech went to that zone that we talked about they may do.
Yeah, I knew that they were going to try to get in that zone, maybe show a different look. Play inside out. I think that's NC State's bread and butter. But they're going to have to find a way to get inside the paint and get easy looks.
It'd be interesting to see with what happens with Reina Perez in the second half as well, because according to our stat sheet, she does have 3 fouls. It looked like Westmore was not on the same page with that, so we'll see what happens. This is just the first semifinal of the day, though. We've got another one coming your way right around 2:30, the tail of the tape between these two teams as we get to see Miami and Notre Dame go head-to-head again. This Notre Dame offense seems like they're clicking right now. They lead the league in points per game in the paint, and we saw that Miami defense yesterday just messing things up for Louisville in the fourth quarter. We saw the Miami offense also going off in the fourth quarter. Will they be able to repeat that? Chelsea, what's the key for you in the second semifinals game?
Well, for Notre Dame, I think they really have to play off of each other offensively, like take care of the basketball. Miami is playing well defensively. They're making shots too. I mean, Destiny Harden was great in that game, you know, especially in the fourth quarter. But for Notre Dame, take care of the basketball, get shots on goal, and play off of each other. Really interact with each other defensively in that zone.
Notre Dame wants an up-tempo game. They want to score in the 70s. Miami does not want an up-tempo game. They're a little bit more tired. They want to come out with that trapping defense. They're going to be very aggressive on defense. So it's going to be a matter of can Notre Dame take care of the ball.
We've seen Olivia Miles step up, Chelsea, for them in big moments and continue throughout the season to build on her performance. Has done such a great job for them at the point guard position. When the lights are bright and, you know, you've been in this position as a young player, kind of what's going through her head and what do you need to see from her?
Just take it one possession at a time, 1 quarter at a time. I think that's when she's at her best, when she's composed and she's not having those rush turnovers. But another player that's really going to be important is Maya Dotson. Like, her ability to disrupt post players, she's able to do that with Kubai and Hermosa. She's going to have to do that against Pendande and Bandu. She's going to have to, you know, do that. And their pick and roll action between Olivia Miles and Maya Dotson has been great. And then you add in Dara Mabry coming up for a 3-point shot. You know, you have different looks offensively and defensively with those three.
I think Maya Dotson staying out of foul trouble is going to be key. Miami has a little more depth on the bench, and Maya Dotson playing a lot of minutes inside. They got to keep her on the floor. That's going to be really important. But shot selection, I think it's going to come down to that. Olivia Miles, embrace the moment. Like you said, stay in the present. Let those turnovers go. Just get back on D.
A lot of factors in this one. Maya Dotson, too. She's been great defensively. Top 10 in the country in blocks, averaging about 2.8 per game. That game coming your way at 2:30. Before that, we're going to dive into it a little bit deeper after the conclusion of this game. Don't go anywhere. We will be with you to break down what you saw in the second half from Virginia Tech and NC State, who is playing for a championship. We will find out. About 20 minutes left in the second half. We'll talk about second half adjustments on the other side of this break. It's a 4-point lead for the Wolfpack. Into this ACC Network halftime report live from Greensboro Coliseum, where the semifinals are already underway. Asia Shepherd and the Virginia Tech Hokies trailing by 4 to NC State at the break. Coach, the Wolfpack, their zone offense, you weren't super happy with it in the first half. What adjustments do they need to make?
The way to beat the 2-3 zone, you attack the logo. But in order to do that, you got to be 3-out, 2 in. They attack the logo, they got that bounce pass in for a layup. If they stay in the 4-out set, they've got to throw it to the block, get the cutter coming down from the point, turn and look opposite on that weak side. But that 3-point shooter has got to be in a position where the post can see her out of the double team.
Chelsea, on the other side, Virginia Tech, the way that they were able to penetrate was something that was successful. Do they need more of that?
Definitely. I was surprised on their pick and roll action. They weren't jamming. Elisa Cunane was not jamming as much. So Georgia Amor was able to go downhill a little bit more, get inside the paint, get easy buckets, and then kick it out. There was a couple times where they were able to pass it around the horn and really get the NC State defense to move move. Asia Shepherd got in the lane, able to hit a floater right over the top. So I'm looking for them to kind of penetrate and get inside the paint a little bit more.
Yeah, let's see somebody get hot.
Yeah.
Also, we were sitting here, and it was 4 minutes. Those teams took a long time in the halftime locker rooms before they came out. They had a lot to talk about, I guess, and we are looking forward to seeing what happens in the second half. We will be back with you afterwards. It is a 4-point game for NC State at the break. We got to send you back down to Beth and Debbie and Kelly. Guys.
Thank you very much, Kelsey. 31-27, NC State with the lead over Virginia Tech. 1 half left to play for a spot in the ACC championship game tomorrow as we get set to start this third quarter. Beth Mowens, Debbie Antonelli, and for Virginia Tech, down 2 starters. It was all about controlling the tempo. They did just that in the first half.
I thought they did a magnificent job. They elected not to go to the glass. They have 0 offensive rebounds. They were able to sprint back, get organized defensively. I think that was a big part of why they've been able to stay within striking distance. On the other side, NC State's got to accelerate through their actions. They've got to move the ball. They're standing, they're waiting. The tempo has been dictated and established by Virginia Tech.
The one bright spot was Jada Boyd, 8 points on 4 of 6 shooting.
She comes off the bench, and this is what her job is to provide a spark, be aggressive, look to attack, and she did that. On the other side, NC State, 11 offensive rebounds. They scored 7 points on those second chance opportunities. And I think they just need to be more aggressive. I thought they are at times and possessions, they kind of look like they're stuck in mud.
The numbers, NC State, one of the most efficient offensive teams in the country, but that is not the look we saw in that first half. And just the 7 second chance points off of 11 offensive rebounds, as they missed a lot of shots in close. They will start this second half without their starting point guard, Reina Perez, on the bench with 3 personal fouls.
And that's a problem for someone over there at NC State, because if Wes Moore thought she only had 1, he left her in, and that's not typically what he would have done. Diamond Johnson gets the start in the second half and picks up a foul immediately on Georgia Amore off the bounce.
A chance for the Hokies to start things out with a 3-point play on the drive from Kayana Traylor.
Or excuse me, Traylor, my bad.
They will continue to go with their 2 starters, Kitley and King, on the bench. And a chance here to turn a 10-point deficit late in that second quarter into a 1-point game. In their first ever appearance in the ACC Tournament semis, never been to the finals before, against NC State, looking for a three-peat. As Kunain scores inside, she was the MVP last year here at the ACC Tournament. NC State set as a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. The Hokies are in. They are hopeful that they can stay home as a top 16 seed. Charlie Cream's latest has them as a number 6 seed in Wichita. After their big win yesterday over North Carolina, the committee may think differently.
And Virginia Tech has done an excellent job protecting inside out. Again, they're gang rebounding on the defensive end and giving up some offensive rebounds, but they have managed this game very well from the sideline. Coach Brooks has done an excellent job.
Remember, too, the selection show this year moves back to a Sunday night, and the women have added the first 4 games on Wednesday and Thursday to open up the NCAA tournament this year. So the field expands to 68 teams as Kayla Jones scores inside as they continue to pound the paint.
Well, that's the difference in the game. NC State's ability on the glass, with the exception of Diamond Johnson, I believe they're taller at every position on the floor.
Foul going to be called on Crutchfield for the bump on the Amore drive, her second For more on Reyna Perez, here's Kelly.
As you guys mentioned, Reyna Perez did not start this second half. She is on the bench. The way NC State likes to operate is Reyna Perez starts, Diamond Johnson comes off the bench. According to the NC State SID, Reyna Perez has never fouled out of a game in an NC State uniform. We will see when Wes Moore decides to bring her back in this game, guys.
Amore hits the three there for the Hokies. We've already seen a big upset yesterday. Miami with the buzzer beater. Destiny Harden to knock out the 2-seed Louisville as Johnson pulls up and hits.
I mean, but look at there's no sprinting going on out here. You know, everything is a jog. I don't like it. You know, I think it favors Virginia Tech. If you're NC State, you got to do something here to put your imprint on the game. I mean, offensive rebounding has been the reason why they have the lead. You got to give Virginia Tech a lot of credit for the way they've defended inside out.
Shepard kicks it back out top. 3-ball off the mark from Lytle. Just a 25% shooter on the season. Now the pro Wolfpack crowd trying to light a fire underneath NC State, and that's knocked out of bounds off of Crutchfield.
The detail in America's play was very weak. It's reject the screen, drive baseline, rescreen, come behind for a three. Very good job by Virginia Tech.
Knocked out of bounds by Traylor. Off the bounce, Amore, no.
Here's a chance to run.
4 Hokies back. Jones gets a wide open look for Crutchfield. Secondary break. And the 3 from Kai.
The crowd for NC State is trying to lift the Wolfpack. Another chance to push. It's interesting how NC State's tempo changes when Amore drives to the bucket or when she takes the three, because they had 2 chances to run off of her trying to be aggressive scoring. Usually she's the one that gets back on the first level of defense.
They have kept Shepard quiet so far as Asia misses there. She's 2 for 8. Cunane knocked loose. Double screen up top, Johnson weaving her way and gets the kind bounce.
That's a great read by Diamond Johnson.
She's got 7. Back up to a 9-point advantage as Tech has missed its last 5 shots. Make it 6. Another chance to push.
You got numbers. Got to make a smart decision.
Cunane, and she's passed up the 3 a couple of times.
I think she's going to have to stick one of those because they keep helping inside of the post. There's a great play by Shepard.
Good block. Now she'll try and go the distance and lays it in with the left.
They've taken her 3-point shooting away, but that hasn't stopped her from making other plays.
Johnson for 3. Good scrap, way to get down on the deck for Greg. And they will give a timeout to Virginia Tech.
Did they have possession? Obviously Denise Brooks thought so. Diamond to the rack.
42-35, NC State with the lead over Virginia Tech, and questionable call here, Debbie.
Well, you have to have possession to call timeout. And at what point does Virginia Tech have possession? The two officials on the baseline, I thought, had jump ball.
Yes, they did. The third official had timeout Virginia Tech, significant because the possession arrow would have given the ball to NC State.
Sometimes officials would like to have them back too, you know? They don't get a chance to review that. Debbie Williamson has been here all week. She's the coordinator of officials for the ACC. I'm sure she's making a note about it.
Let's see if
she might even text
cash in on the possession. We'll get a couple of shots at it. Any more? Wide open inside. The good find. Down low to Baines. Well, could have been a little 4-point swing right there. Under 4 to go in the third.
Jada Boyd is so good at sizing them up.
Around and out.
Virginia Tech has done a nice job of not fouling.
A lot of contact, no whistle.
Chance to run.
Diamond Johnson all the minutes at the point here with Perez in foul trouble. Boyd found herself wide open at the elbow, knocks it down. She's into double digits with 10. And the first player of the day into double figures.
I don't mind scoring on one pass in the middle third, but a pass to the wing and a shot, that sometimes when a team is struggling offensively, it's not a rhythm shot. Look at Amor behind the screen. Both Amor and Shepard capable of pulling a 3 behind the screen.
She now has 12 points. 4-point game, under 3 to go here in the first semifinal.
Virginia Tech has made this a 2-possession game here in the third quarter. Georgia Amor picks up her first foul. And I think it's all a part of the strategy for Kenny Brooks to shorten the game and to manage the minutes of his team. I think she commits this foul on purpose because we were inside the TV timeout or media break, and he gave his team a chance to get a timeout. I mean, and to come over there and get some rest. I think that's exactly what the strategy was there.
Kelly was in the huddle, Kelly.
Debbie, I think you're all over it. Kenny Brooks kept saying in the huddle, guys, we have them exactly where we want them. They are trying to use some gamesmanship, as you said, make this game short. He did talk about rebounding. Look, right now the rebounding numbers are very much in NC State's favor. That was his main point of emphasis on the floor. We have to team rebound, guys.
Yeah, they have twice as many rebounds. But despite all the offensive boards, they have not been able to convert a whole lot of those into points as a foul is committed inside. Boyd to the line here. She's got 10. Elisa Cunane, 9 points, 11 rebounds. On the other side for Tech, 12 points for Amor. Shepard's got 8.
Look, Kenny Brooks in some ways is playing with some house money right here, right? They're the 5 seed. They upset North Carolina in overtime. They've got 2 of his starters and the player of the year on the bench. They have made this a manageable game for them going into what will be the fourth quarter. The next 2 minutes obviously important. Can NC State go from 5 to 10? Or is Virginia Tech going to get this back to 1 possession?
They've limited their turnovers, Debbie, and they have committed a grand total of 4 fouls. That is it. Those were just the 3rd and 4th free throws of the day for NC State. One of the best free throw shooting teams in the country. Off the bounce, and a trip to the line coming up.
So Perez has 3. She gambles, trying to get a steal. It gives Traylor a line to the bucket, and it puts pressure on the second row of NC State. Wes Moore is shaking his head, and I think a lot of people in the building are shaking their head.
Well managed thus far by Virginia Tech.
Yes.
Hey, it's Coach K's final game at Cameron. I don't know if you heard about that. Big one tonight. North Carolina visiting Duke. Our coverage starts on ACC Network with the Nothing But Net crew at 4:30. More coverage With Packer and Durham and Debbie on ACC Network, and of course the regular game on ESPN. Last home game at Cameron for Mike Krzyzewski.
You know, I covered his third to the last home game, his second to the last home game. Now I'm going to get a chance to be in Cameron for his final game, and I didn't think the pitch could get any higher in Cameron. I can only imagine what it's going to be like in there today.
Oh, crazy.
And then there's the game, Duke and North Carolina.
They're probably already, well, the party's been going all week, as a matter of fact. Getting set for that one. Here's the other thing, too, that's at stake, and we'll talk about it a little bit more in the fourth quarter, but as a 1 seed, you don't want to go to Bridgeport if UConn is going to be there. UConn is now sneaking up onto the 2 line, most likely. A foul on the inbound. Louisville's loss yesterday could be very costly in that regard if they get sent up to Bridgeport where UConn's a 2. NC State wants to take care of business today and tomorrow to avoid a similar situation for the selection committee. Reason being, UConn is almost always at home. They've won 44 in a row in NCAA tournament play when they get to stay in the Northeast and just hop on a bus to Storrs or to Bridgeport. There is the seeding as of right now. And Debbie, you make a great point. For the 1 and 2 seed lines, the selection committee tries to stay very tight on an S curve where the last 1 seed gets matched up with the best 2 seed, etc.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yes.
Now, geography always comes into play. And unfortunately, I think our game deserves better.
It looks like
we had an S-curve last year, and look how competitive.
Exactly.
And how exciting and how great the ratings were and everything else.
Looks like South Carolina will be the 1 seed in Greensboro, which would be the closest for an ACC champion. The other sites, Bridgeport, Wichita, and Spokane. Cunane for 3.
Yeah.
Got it.
She's got to look to be aggressive and take that. They're not going to come out and guard her until she hits it.
She's got her 8th double-double of the year now. 12 points, 11 rebounds.
She jumps out on that hedge. You know, Georgia Amore makes a great read. You attack the outside hip. You can't impede the ball handler.
Still in his back pocket if he so chooses for Kenny Brooks and Virginia Tech. Do they bring on Kitley or King, 2 of their starters who are out with injuries but are available? Or do you just dance with the ones that run you? Because this group of Hokies has been terrific hanging around today. King did not play yesterday. Kitley got hurt in the game yesterday. Final minute of this third quarter for a spot in the ACC championship game.
You could get a 2-for-1 here, but you'd have to go quickly.
Boyd. Good patience to let the second defender leave her, and then she scores.
The 4-out 1-in is working better with Boyd on the block and Cunane up top.
Shepard off the bounce.
They have closed out on her on the 3-point line and made her put it on the floor. That's exactly the way you attack the best ACC shooter.
Shot clock's off. Crutchfield. Back to Brown. Turner looking for 3. Biggest lead of the day for NC State. They give her a 2. And it's a 10-point advantage into the fourth quarter.
Boyd, mature, patient, avoids the double. Spins over that left shoulder. And then Jakia Brown-Turner on the line, just a 2, but a 10-point lead.
10-point game into the fourth quarter, and a reminder to fans to download the ACC 3-Point Challenge app presented by New York Life to help benefit the local boys and girls clubs. You can score points for your school. And after the tournament, the local boys and girls club will receive a donation from New York Life based on their affiliated ACC team's final ranking. 10 minutes to go for a spot in the ACC Championship game. Beth Mowins, along with Hall of Famer in waiting, Debbie Antonelli. And it was a 7-0 run to close out that third quarter for NC State, and they've matched their biggest lead of the day. They have won the last 2 ACC Tournament championships. Our second doubleheader to follow, Miami and Notre Dame, as Perez uses the glass to extend it to a dozen. Kitley and King staying on the bench for Virginia Tech to open up this fourth quarter.
Really good hedge, good tag from the weak side by Boyd. Oh, I'm surprised she didn't drive her with those 3 fouls. They had a clear out for Traylor.
Settled for the 3. Who's been spending a lot more time on the perimeter here in this second half.
Well, the combination with Boyd has worked out for Boyd on the block, Beth. I think Boyd has got a better matchup in the post. As Perez with back-to-back buckets for NC State.
Timeout, Hokies. Let's take a look at our Bojangles Big Bow moment of the tournament so far, Debbie.
Destiny Harden, 1.7. The eruption by the bench. Look at the reaction by Haley Van Lith from Louisville. And then Harden takes it to the house. She's out.
The 7-seed Miami bouncing the 2-seed Louisville. Our Bojangles Big Bow moment. Kelly?
Destiny Harden us on Nothing But Net last night. Her mindset, okay, was I'm going to run out of this gym so they can't review it. Now, of course, they are going to review it, but the adrenaline hit her. She just kept running. This is a 5th-year senior who used her COVID year to come back, and she said she dreamt of moments like that when she chose to use her 5th year.
What'd Coach say? She Forrest Gumped it?
She Forrest, you know what the lesson is from all that? We don't need no stinking preseason or non-conference games. We just show up for the big ones because Destiny was limited this year. She didn't play in the first 10. She had limited minutes in the start of the season, and she is fresh. She will not be tired today.
Huge for Miami. They were a bubble team. Looks like they're solid now into the NCAA tournament. And their foe in our second semifinal, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame under Muffet McGraw, winners of 5 of the last 8 ACC tournament titles. And now Niele Ivey in her second season fighting for a spot in the final, and perhaps even more. I think Charlie Cream says a Notre Dame win into the championship game would get them a spot hosting at home in South Bend for the first and second rounds of the NCAAs.
I love that the twist action on top of the floor by Cunane to get Jakia Brown-Turner free for a 3, which she was fouled by Shepard.
This was close at the end of the third quarter, and now the Pack have run off 13 unanswered points.
It was 44-40 NC State with about 2:50 left in the third quarter when Kenny Brooks had Georgia Amor commit that foul. And then NC State regrouped off the timeout.
That looked like a clean block up top on Brown-Turner. There might have been some action underneath. Who did they give the foul to? Well, they gave it to Jakia. Her second. And Traylor to the line, 80% free throw shooter. Coming off a season high 39 minutes yesterday. She's headed for that kind of number again today. In the absence of King and Kitley. Will this be a good enough showing to get Virginia Tech first and second round hosting action in Blacksburg? They are on the host bubble. Big win yesterday over Carolina. hanging around with NC State despite being down 2 starters so far today. Still 8 minutes to go.
NC State won by 30 yesterday. It was easy. No disrespect to Florida State, but it was fairly simple for the Wolfpack. They had great balance, and that's what you call a no layup foul right there. Make them earn it at the line. And NC State's not doing a good job of containing the dribble at all. Wes Moore told us before the game he was a little concerned about that, with the smaller lineup on the floor for Virginia Tech.
Trailer back to the line. Don't forget, coming up here on ACC Network after the game, the Nothing But Net crew will have complete post-game coverage with highlights, analysis, and insight. Big day around, let's see, 3 of the 5 power conferences. It's semifinal action. Pac-12 takes a day off now between the semis and the finals. The upstart Utah Utes into the championship game to take on the regular season champion Stanford Cardinal out west. So a lot of games going on around the Big Ten and the SEC this afternoon and this evening as Cunane scores inside. She's got 14. That's going to be a foul on NC State.
I thought that was an excellent duck in by Jada Boyd. This is Cunane, the basket before.
Shepard's got it. Trailer has the last 8 points of the game for the Hokies, as Shepard has just not been able to dial it in today. She's 3 for 11.
Yeah, she's pressing, and NC State has done an excellent job on her. I mean, you have to run her off the 3-point line. But like I said earlier, this is the first time Virginia Tech has come to the ACC tournament knowing they're in the NCAA. It's a different mindset for them and for Kenny Brooks. That win yesterday was the biggest win that he's had in his short tenure at Virginia Tech. In my mind, that was the biggest win they've had.
Cunane triple teamed on this possession.
Wes Moore was looking for a timeout and he didn't get it.
No ball goes to the Hokies.
He's like, Kenny Brooks got timeout.
I didn't get, where's mine?
Where's my timeout? I called timeout. As soon as she put it on the floor, the swarm came from the Hokies.
Amore, good feed.
What a
to the perimeter.
That's why,
Trailer for 3.
Young players, that's why you keep 2 hands on the ball. Because if you go one hand there, you're going to turn it over. It's a great read by Amore. Move the ball.
And now Horns, says Wes, with 5 on the shot clock. Perez had it knocked loose. 3 on the shot clock.
If you can throw a direct pass into Cunane. You got time for 3 dribbles here, Beth.
They'll let Perez jack. All right, so here comes Tech now. Chance to get it back into single digits and put a little pressure on the top seed.
That's what you want to do, is put some game pressure on NC State. That's what Miami did to Louisville yesterday in the 4th quarter.
When Destiny Harden scored the last 15 points of the game and held Louisville scoreless for the final 5 minutes. Not the look they wanted there. Fouled on the skip. Be on Lytle, her third. Boyd called for another offensive foul and looks tentative off the bounce because of that.
Well, her defender is helping on Cunane, so when she comes back out, she's attacking the closeout.
Trailer blocked by Cunane. Perez with the tape, and then she's fouled.
That's a good foul by Trailer. That was a layup for NC State, and this building is ready to explode. The NC State team hasn't really given them anything to get excited about. That's a credit to Kenny Brooks.
Brown-Turner, nice dish to Boyd in traffic.
That's a great read by Jakia Brown-Turner. Draw the help, drop it off in the middle third.
More short.
This is where the legs get in. She's been short on her last 2 threes. Amore's played every minute of the game.
Well, the 3-ball, which could have been prevalent on both sides, really has not been a factor today, other than to note that neither side has shot it well. Cunane will try and change that.
How about 6'5" with a soft roll?
Tongue wagging and a smile for the crowd. She's got 17. And perhaps the 3 straight days catching up with Virginia Tech. There was 1 of 9 shooting here in the 4th.
And there's no question it's tough to come here and win back to back to back. The competition is so good. Cunane hesitated early on those 3s, but she's done a terrific job of taking them because Jada Boyd's done a really good job on the block. It's part of the versatility of the 4-out, 1-in that Wes Moore has installed in this team.
Cunane is tied for the lead in 3s today for NC State and is the only center in the country. 50% from the floor, 40% from beyond the line, and 80% at the free throw line. Only center in America.
On the ACC championship team.
ACC tournament shaping up like this as North Carolina State closes in on a berth in the championship game. Still to come, Notre Dame and the 7-seed Miami. The buzzer-beating win to knock out Louisville yesterday. And the Fighting Irish looking to get back to the finals, where they own this tournament for the first handful of years after arriving from the Big East. Winners of 5 of the last 8. And the Irish are in the house. Miami back in the semifinals. For the 4th time ever, they have yet to win a semi and advance to a championship game at the ACC Tournament. And of course, significant for Notre Dame looking to host in the NCAAs as well. Charlie Cream says if they win, they get one of those top 16 seeds.
Extended pressure by Virginia Tech.
Charlie's latest bracketology, by the way, has Florida State last 4 in, Boston College last 4 out. All comes down to the selection committee a week from tomorrow as the women move back to Selection Sunday instead of Selection Monday, which I love. Get ready for the first 4.
Exactly.
Which is also new this year for the women.
I'll tell you what, Georgia Amor is a heck of a point guard, isn't she? I mean, I've admired her game for a while. I just think she's got scoring ability. She's smart, crafty. She can go anywhere off the bounce.
Well, for Virginia Tech, Debbie, it's all about rest and recovery now. The next 10 days or so to get Kayla King with the ankle sprain healthy and Elizabeth Kittley with the shoulder sprain healthy for the NCAA tournament. And one, Alyssa.
The big smile hasn't been smiling very much today. All business.
19 now for Elisa Cunane.
Really good interior passing as she gets behind that Virginia Tech zone.
Goes along with her 13 rebounds and now 20.
I mean, you got to give it to Kenny Brooks and his club. I mean, they played well. Without 2 starters, down 4 with 2:50 left in the 3rd quarter. And then fatigue played a little bit of a role, but NC State did a much better job scoring. Everything short right now for the Hokies.
They are just 1 for 10 in this 4th quarter. And held to just 9 points.
I think it was a methodical effort by NC State. They're going to have to play with a little more rhythm and offense and a little bit more emotion on the defensive end, regardless of the opponent tomorrow.
We're going to bring the fans back tomorrow. A little liquid refreshment, perhaps, this evening, and then back in force for tomorrow's championship game as the Wolfpack will try and get the 3-peat.
Wes Moore has done a fantastic job with this team. Picked to win the league in the regular season. Finishing off the job in the regular season.
Perez, no. I think he wants the ball to get out of bounds here so he can sub for Cunane. As Camille Hobby is set to check in. Let's listen. And now more substitutes coming in for State. The starters check out. What a run it has been for this elder group of Wolfpack women. Seniors and grad students and juniors. And in 24 hours, they will play for a 3rd consecutive ACC Tournament championship.
Well, they cruised yesterday in a 30-point win, and I would say they kind of cruised today. They'll enjoy film session with Coach Moore.
Oh, he'll have some things to say, no doubt.
Oh, yeah. And we'll look forward to seeing the Hokie seed in the NCAA tournament. As you mentioned, Charlie Cream has them at a 6. I won't see them falling below that. They were a 7 last year. It's a significant difference, the seeding.
Stick around for our Nothing But Net crew coming up between games, and then our 2nd semifinal on deck with Miami and Notre Dame. Of course, later on, ACC Net coverage of Coach K's final game, Duke and Carolina from Cameron. And then they will be off to the ACC Men's Tournament and beyond with a great shot at another national championship. Final home game tonight in Durham. I guess it would be Coach K's senior day, right?
It's definitely a senior day.
Send off like none other.
He doesn't know what his emotions will be like his last walk to the floor. I suspect some tears.
Final score, NC State 70, Virginia Tech 55. Elisa Cunane, the double-double. 20 points, 13 rebounds. Jada Boyd, 16 points as well for the Wolfpack women. And the quest comes to an end for Virginia Tech, appearing in their first ACC Tournament semifinal. And they will now get ready for the NCAA championships. And let's get you over to Kelly.
All right, guys, here with Elisa Cunane. Elisa, you guys were dominant on the rebounding boards today. Was that a point of emphasis for you guys heading in?
Yeah, it definitely was. We saw how Carolina was able to get O-boards against Virginia Tech last game, so we want to come in here and get as many O-boards as possible to get extra possessions.
How about your girl Jada Boyd? Incredible off the bench. What does it mean for you guys to have this kind of depth?
I mean, that's what's taken us to this point, and that's what's going to take us even further. JB came in, did amazing. She had to slow down, and she did what we needed her to do.
Lots of red in this building, Elisa. What does it mean in your final go-round here at the ACC Tournament to have all of this red in the Greensboro Coliseum?
It's so special, you know. Like, there's nothing like Reynolds, but there's nothing like Greensboro Coliseum when the Wolfpack are playing. So I'm just so happy that all of our fans are here, and they're here to support us.
All right, get some rest. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Second semifinal coming up, Miami and Notre Dame. And now let's get you over to the studio with our Nothing But Net crew.
Kelly, thank you. Welcome into Nothing But Net, presented by TIAA. As you take a look at the scoreboard inside the Greensboro Coliseum, says that semifinals #1, guys, goes to NC State. The Wolfpack back in the championship game for the 3rd straight year. Will they be taking home the hardware? And who will they be facing as they try to win a back-to-back-to-back championship? We will see. Tip-off of the next game set for 2:30 between Miami and Notre Dame. And we are with you until that time. Looking forward to breaking down all the action that we saw and getting you set up for what's next as we welcome you into the Greensboro Coliseum alongside the Hall of Famer, Coach Muffet McGraw and Chelsea Gray. I'm Kelsey Riggs. Kelly Gramlich will be with us in just a little while as she hurries up from the sidelines, comes and joins us on set, taking you to 2:30 and then tip off of the next game. But let's talk about what we just saw from NC State. We'll get to Virginia Tech and the way that they were able to battle. The Wolfpack, again, just came out, Chelsea, and especially down the stretch, they were able to dominate.
You know, the score isn't indicative of this whole basketball game. Virginia Tech really fought, but NC State just stayed steady. You know, basketball is a game of run, you guys, and you guys know that. And you saw Elisa Cunane have some troubles in the beginning of the game, but she stayed steady, able to knock down some threes, able to get inside the paint, got a little bit of the and ones, and was able to get to the free throw line, but super steady. I think Raina Perez controlled the basketball game, allowed NC State to get good looks at the basket, and so dominant performance coming to the end there.
Yeah, I thought so too, and great balance. But Boyd off the bench, I think that was the key for me. She came in, gave them a lift they needed in the first half. That first half was a lot closer than I expected it to be. I thought Cunane was going to dominate inside. She didn't have that kind of day, but Boyd was taking over. They were trying to post her up on the block. I thought she did some great things inside.
Jada Boyd finishes with 16 and 4. Chelsea, when somebody comes off the bench like that and has the impact that she had, especially when things were kind of slow rolling for Cunane early, how much of an impact does that make?
I mean, what do you do with your scouting report? Like, all your scouting report, you're talking about Elisa Cunane and how are you going to double, and then all of a sudden you have Boyd coming out here getting buckets. And, I mean, what a lift for NC State. What a pleasure to have that on your team. I say this all the time. Championships are won because you have such a great bench.
Yeah.
And when you have from top to bottom people able to come in and play off of each other, it's a joy to be around and be able to play for each other.
And you can post Boyd up or post Jones up because Cunane's going to knock down the three. So it really is going to spread the floor.
It certainly could, and Coach, the opportunity that they have now to win a 3rd straight ACC championship. They are the regular season champions, and we'll see who they face, whether it's Notre Dame or Miami tonight. But they're the team that kind of has had the target on their back all season. How tough is it to win 3 in a row?
You know, it really is tough having that target on your back all year long. You're the #1 seed. You're the best team. Everybody expects you to win. That puts just so much more pressure on them. When you have to win, you can get a little bit tight. The other teams are coming in. They're loose. They're going to throw up some shots and see what happens. I mean, they're going to have some fun out there, and that's what they're talking about in their huddle, where NC State, you know, they got to come out, they got to perform, but fortunately, they've got the bench to do it.
Coach, I felt like you were talking through experience there. Did you feel some pressure when last time you were out here? I feel like it was the same kind of scenario where they're just like, we got to take down Muffin McGraw now. But, yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot of pressure there when you're coming back again. It's like everybody wants to see that team that's won multiple times to finally lose, right? And to stay within your program, to stay with your coaching staff, your teammates, and just play for each other, knock out the outside noise. Yeah. Don't try to chase records and things. Just play game by game. Yeah. You know, the accolades will come, the championship will come if you just take care of the little things.
And can't control the outcome.
I was going to say, and since you brought it up, Chelsea, it was 4 in a row for you, right? And when did 2014, which you may or may not have been there
I was on the roster, however, I was hurt.
Freshman year, so you were hurt. It doesn't count.
Different scenario. We might be having a different conversation, Kels, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Could have been different, Coach.
Dethrone Duke, that's all I know.
Well, we will see if anybody is able to dethrone NC State. The Wolfpack have definitely been dominant, and we're looking forward to seeing how they respond tomorrow in the championship game. The other side of things is this Virginia Tech team, and the way they battled their 3rd game in 3 games. They're without ACC Player of the Year, Liz Kitley. No Kayla King. We know that they were available, but chose not to play them because they have, Coach, bigger aspirations than just right now. What'd you think of the way things played out?
What a gritty team. They helped themselves for the NCAA tournament. I mean, they just did so many impressive things without Kitley in the lineup, without King in the lineup, and still they were battling. They were close. As you said, this game much closer than it appeared. They got a lot further than people maybe expected them to. I see them. They're a solid 5 seed, but I could see them if, you know, things change. They could move up.
Charles?
Yeah, I agree. They had a great showing, especially you lose somebody like Kitley, not just the points per game, but all the attention. And so we talk about how NC State plays out of double teams happening on Elisa Cunane. You play out of doubles when people try to go at Kitley. And so how do you change the identity of your team? And they were able to do that within a game, and then now you had another game. But I think they got tired. I think they shot about 22% from the 3-point line. That's legs, you know, the mental focus to sustain that against a really good Wolfpack team. And so, I mean, my hat's off to them of how they played and how they competed, but I hope that Kitley and King are able to get some rest to be ready for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and I think they will be. That's why they said they were available today. I think they want everybody to know they're going to be back. So let's not count them out.
They tricked us, Coach. We were like, oh, Kitley's coming to play. They're coming to play.
We took the bait, hook, line, sinker, and went for it. But we are definitely looking forward to seeing when they do get back on the court and are healthy. A great ACC tournament performance from Virginia Tech. Welcome back into Nothing But Net, live from Greensboro Coliseum. Semifinals #1, Virginia Tech and NC State just wrapped up, went head-to-head. 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Tech up by 2. How about Jada Boyd and what we saw from her early, Kelly?
Jada Boyd was excellent off the bench for NC State. This is what separates them from other teams, their depth. When you can bring Jada Boyd off the bench, you've got a really good rotation.
On the other side of things, Asia Shepherd getting it done on both ends. Virginia Tech down 7. 2 minutes later, it's Georgia Amor. Finds a little space and knocks it down. Chels?
Yeah, she's been really good for this Virginia Tech squad. Really runs the point at a high tick. Really gets everybody involved, but able to call her all number as well.
Minute left in the half. Close game, but Elisa Cunane tries to open it up. That makes it a 6-point game. Then more from Jada Boyd. Doesn't like what she sees, takes it herself, goes to the hoop. NC State go on a 13-0 run. Then 2 minutes into the fourth quarter, Cunane for the layup, Coach.
There was a little travel there, I thought, but they had her outside, they had her inside. I thought they moved her around really well. I thought Raina Perez came in, hit a couple of jumpers in that beginning of that fourth quarter, and that really got them going.
NC State gets the 70-55 win. She is a Hall of Famer coach for a reason, because she is always going to help us tell it just like it is. We love it, and we love to have Raina Perez up on set with us, fresh off the win. 9 points for you, Raina. I know you guys are feeling good. Started off off having to really grind it out, but that fourth quarter really took care of business. What was the difference for you guys in the second half?
I think we just talked about pushing the ball and getting back in transition and making sure that we get the offensive rebounds, and so I think that was huge. I mean, we scored a lot off those rebounds, and that's what Coach Moore preaches a lot, is rebounding, and defense is going to win championships, and so that's what we tried to do today.
So you go back in the locker room, celebrate that win. What has been the conversation going into tomorrow's game?
Just to stay locked in and focused on all the little things. Don't worry about like the end, like winning the championship. Just focus on the little things and we'll get there and it'll take care of itself.
What was that halftime conversation like? That was a little closer, I think, than we all thought it might be.
Yeah.
Was there a clipboard thrown at the beginning or not?
No, he didn't do that.
He's not you, Coach.
He just basically came in and told us that we need to do little things again. He's like, get rebounds, play defense. I think in transition they started to get us a little bit, but so he really focused in on transition and getting back, honestly.
Could you sense in that fourth quarter that Virginia Tech got a little tired?
Yeah, I think when I was on the bench maybe a little bit. I don't know. But I saw them, like, they were tired. So I was like, let's push the ball. Let's push it. And so, yeah, I could sense it.
Did you know you had 3 fouls in the first half?
I thought it was 2. I thought they had called that one on Jakia Brown. And so, yeah, no, I didn't know I had 3. I thought I had 2.
Yeah, your coach was not thrilled when I told him you had 3. He's like, I think so. Stat broadcast says that. Okay, Raina, I'm curious, okay, because everyone says, at least Westmore tells this story, that when you were in the portal, NC State reached out to you and you had never heard of NC State. Is this true?
Yes.
You had never heard of NC State?
Never.
And your brother said, they're pretty good. You probably should take a look at them.
Yeah. And so, because I really focused on the West Coast teams being from the West Coast. And so I never really, obviously I heard about like I heard about Louisville, but I think I never heard about NC. I know that.
Had you heard about Notre Dame?
Yeah, I heard about Notre Dame too.
That's just that question.
But no, I had never heard of NC State. And then I had a voicemail from Coach Moore, and my brother had listened to it, and he was like, why haven't you called them back? And I was like, I'm just so tired. Like, I don't want. He's like, call them back, call them back. And so I ended up calling them back, and it worked out.
So your brother has really helped NC State win a couple of these championships, I would say.
You can say
Does he get a ring? He probably deserves a ring.
He tries to put mine on. There you
go. Raina, when you now have been here for a couple years, and as someone who really didn't know about the program and know about the history here, what's your biggest takeaway from being here and having some of the experiences that you've had?
Just to work hard and come in and do the little things. I mean, I think it's hard to get here, definitely, but I mean, you do the little things. You could stay here, you could play here, and so that's basically what I did to try to get here.
You're sitting up here with a really bossy point guard.
I know.
And a former bossy point guard. And so what was it like? I mean, you transfer in, you're older, but you're still kind of a rookie on the team. What was that leadership role you had?
I think when I first got here, it was a little, I kind of took a step back just because I was new. I didn't want anyone to think, like you said, to be bossy.
Yeah.
But so thing. Yeah, so I think even at my old school, I think I just like led as a action type of person instead of vocally. But I'm starting to work on that a little bit more. I mean, it was tough, but I'm working on it.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
So we talk about the balance as a point guard of knowing when to score and when to take your own shot. Today, you were able to knock down some key jumpers in the fourth quarter, which I think your team needs. What has been that conversation like with Westmore about having that balance of when to get the ball? A lot of times it's going to be to Kunane and when to call your own number.
It's more so just reading the defense. I mean, he doesn't say, oh, hit Elisa, oh, shoot the ball. It's just like, if you see your man goes underneath, take the shot. If Lisa's open on the cut or the roll, hit her. And so I think it's just all about reading your defense and their defense as well.
Raina, I know you remember the shot you hit last year to win the championship for NC State. When you walk back in this gym, are you just like, yeah, this is my gym. Look what I did here. I mean, is it nice to be back in this arena?
Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, I step on the court and I go to that spot and I'm like, let me see if I can hit it again.
Yeah,
there's a little X down there on the floor.
Maybe sign it. Yeah. For the other teams, like, don't let her get the ball here because we know that she can be clutch. What's the rest of the day look like for you guys? You take care of business. We've got the second semifinal coming. What will you do?
I think we might stay a little bit and watch the game, but other than that, probably go back to the hotel, get some rest, and get some dinner.
What was your reaction when Miami beat Louisville?
Well, we were watching the game all together, and like obviously last second you're like, oh shoot, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And they hit it, and we're like, oh my gosh. We had both both talked about the game being close the last time they played them. Louisville had only won by 3, so we're like, this is going to be a good game. We need to make sure we watch it.
It was a fantastic finish, and we have enjoyed seeing you guys play. Looking forward to seeing you back in the championship game for the 3rd straight year. Reina Perez, congrats.
Thank you.
All right, so as we said, we're waiting to see who they will face in the finals tomorrow. Miami, Notre Dame, about 20 minutes from tip-off. Let's go out now to her head coach, though, Wes Moore. He's at the podium after the win.
Coach, if you could just start us off with an opening statement, then we'll take questions.
Well, first of all, I want to tip my hat to Kenny Brooks and Virginia Tech. Obviously, they were shorthanded today with a couple of their key players injured, and yet they gave us all we wanted. And I'm not surprised. Coach Brooks does a heck of a job, and his players are, they're going to compete until the final whistle. So glad to get by that one. Told them afterwards, get healthy, get those kids healed up, and let's go make a run in the NCAAs and represent the ACC. So I'm confident they'll do that. Proud of our players. Again, it wasn't always easy or pretty. I thought we did a much better job on the offensive boards today. That's been something we've been trying to emphasize. Again, they made it tough on us, mixing up man and zone. And, when you have a lead and they're pressing, you got to decide, do you want to press the issue and try to score? But if you do that, now you're shooting quick and giving them more possessions. But I thought our players made good decisions and handled it well. Obviously, Elisa playing here close to home has been really, really good. Double-double, 20 points, 30 rebounds, impressive.
30. You said 30.
10, I'll take sorry, 13. 13 rebounds. Did I say 30? Okay. I'd always try to promote our players. And then Jada Boyd, I think the last month or so has been playing at a whole nother level. And she makes a big difference for us when she is, because she can help us on both ends of the floor. And just did a great job today as well. So, again, but we had a lot of people. Reina, we kind of slipped up and let her get her 3rd foul in the first half. That was my fault, our fault. We got to do a better job of that. But Diamond, filled in, and then Reina gave us a big lift when she came in off the bench and hit some big shots. So, again, great team win, and proud of what this team's been doing. I've been riding their coattails now for 4 years, so it's been a good ride.
Okay, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get the mic to you. The first one here on the 2nd row, Jonas.
Yeah, at least I just saw you, your jaw kind of dropped a little bit when you looked at the stat sheet and you and Jada exchanged high fives. What stat did you see that kind of jumped off the page to you right now?
Honestly, my jaw dropped when I saw I had 4 turnovers. I knew I had a couple, but I didn't know I had 4. But we just pointed out our points and our rebounds. I'm just proud of JB for coming out here, coming off the bench, getting 16 points. She just played amazing tonight, so I was proud of her for that.
Okay, next question, Mark, here in the front row.
Elisa, how much should them not having Kitley make a big difference for you guys in your ability to dominate on the boards today?
It was just different, They were trying to draw fouls inside, so you couldn't really attack as much with Kitley there. You had to be a little more gentle with them. But I think it also, on the offensive end, they were able to attack more. And so being a 5-player, we had to guard the 4 players a little bit more, them attacking, shooting threes. So I think they still obviously played a great game. I think it shifted things a little bit more mobile game, I guess you could say. But, yeah, definitely missed her out there and hope she's okay.
Here in the back, right.
Jada Boyd, what was your mindset coming into this tournament? Because you've been just playing great. I know Coach said you've been playing great the last month or so, but this tournament, you've just been special. So talk about your mindset.
Just coming in with a dominant mindset, knowing that I know what I'm going to do and hoping to get to the championship, just playing for another goal gives me confidence, and moving towards the goal feels good.
Okay, here in the middle in the 3rd row.
Just wanted to ask Lisa real quick. It looked like in the first quarter they were frustrating you a little bit with those late double teams. Just what was your approach to getting around them as the game went on?
I just had to slow down a little bit more. I think I got out of control a couple times and didn't finish as strong. So I just had to slow down and just go up through the contact and just finish better. I knew they were going to fall in the 2nd quarter and beyond, so just be patient with that.
Okay, back to the middle 3rd row here.